Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. This time we're going deep into Taoist alchemy with a text called the Lingbao Essential Teachings.
Oh yeah, this one's a classic.
It really is, and we'll look at it as discovering like an ancient scroll hidden away.
You know, tucked away in those misty peaks of Zhongyan Mountain.
Yeah, exactly, just waiting to be discovered.
Full of secrets of self-transformation.
You know, these secrets were actually part of a larger collection, the Lingbao Canon.
3 volumes attributed to, get this, figures like Yuan Shi.
Yuan Shi.
Yeah, the primordial beginning, like the source code of the universe.
Wow.
And our author, Zhongli Quan, he discovered this.
Zhongli Quan, a major figure in Taoist internal alchemy during the Five Dynasties period, right?
Exactly. He studied these texts, really distilled their essence.
And put it all into the Lingbao Essential Teachings.
Yeah.
So what did he find in this ancient wisdom?
One of the coolest things is how he connected the Lingbao Canon's insights to the practice of internal alchemy. Exactly. He took these big cosmic principles, right?
Yeah.
And showed how they work within us.
So instead of like turning lead into gold.
It's about transforming ourselves.
Oh, I see.
Refining our own inner lead and mercury.
Okay.
Which really, they represent different energies within us.
To achieve a state of spiritual wholeness.
Right.
And of course, it wouldn't be Taoist alchemy without yin and yang.
You got it. It's everywhere in these teachings.
It is.
And Zhongli Quan saw their interplay not just as, a philosophical concept.
Right.
But as a tangible force at every level of existence.
He saw it in the natural world, too.
Oh, absolutely. The union of sun and moon, even the dynamic of the heart and kidneys within the body.
So he's finding these universal patterns reflected within ourselves.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
And he went even further. One of the unique things of the Lingbao Essential Teachings is this idea of harmonizing Jia and Gang energies.
Jia and Gang.
Think of Jia as expansive, creative, like spring. Jiang is more about consolidating, refining, like the autumn harvest.
So these energies are like two sides of the alchemical process, the expansion and refinement.
Yes. Zhongli Quan saw these energies as essential for alchemical transformation. He even linked them to specific times.
Times.
Yeah, drawing and refining energies during the hours of Mao and Yu, aligning with those natural rhythms of the universe.
It's about timing, like catching a wave.
That's it. And this aligning with the cosmos is key to understanding another concept in the Lingbao Essential Teachings. The progression from Wu to Yu.
Wu.
Non-being.
And Yu.
Being.
So we're going back to the very beginning of the universe. From pure potential into form and substance.
Yeah. And you know what?
What?
It mirrors the alchemical process.
How so?
Refining those raw materials. Dissolving those polarities of yin and yang to reach a higher state of being.
Interesting. So it's not just about energy, but transforming our physical form as well.
The Lingbao Essential Teachings talk about refining golden essence and jade essence to achieve the returning elixir. These are like the refined forms of base elements, key to spiritual wholeness.
And maybe even immortality.
Right.
That sounds incredible, but what exactly are these essences and how do we even cultivate them?
Well, that's where the text gets really interesting. It digs into specific alchemical practices and stresses how important it is to distinguish between pure essences and impurities.
Okay.
It mentions red lead and black lead, like obstacles on the path, things that stop us from reaching our full potential.
So we're clearing away those metaphorical roadblocks within ourselves to allow these golden and jade essences to emerge.
You got it. And to do that, the Lingbao Essential Teachings talk about transforming bones, refining form.
So you've purified the energies of lead and mercury. Now it's about refining the very structure of your being.
Exactly.
Interesting. Now, the Lingbao Essential Teachings mentions something called the 9-3 position, a reference to the Yi Jing.
Yeah, the Yi Jing.
The ancient book of divination. That seems a little unexpected. What does fortune-telling have to do with alchemy?
Well, the Yi Jing isn't just about fortune-telling. It's about understanding patterns of change, how those patterns show up in our lives and the world.
Okay.
So the reference to the 9-3 position, it suggests there's a specific energetic configuration that helps with alchemical transformation.
I see. Like the Yi Jing is a map for navigating the alchemical terrain.
Exactly. And it shows how deep and interconnected these teachings are. We're going from the cosmic level to the structure of our being, all part of this alchemical journey.
We've covered a lot of ground here, but I have a feeling this is just the beginning of our exploration.
Oh, you're definitely right about that. There's so much more to uncover in the Lingbao Essential Teachings.
Okay, so we've talked about refining our inner elements, even using the Yu Jing as a guide. But what does this alchemical process look like? In practice, I mean. What are the steps involved?
Well, the Lingbao Essential Teachings describe a cycle with different stages, each with its own challenges and opportunities.
Oh.
And one of the most important is the completion stage, called Jiji.
Jiji.
It's where things get really interesting.
What makes it so important?
It's when the real refinement happens, like reaching the summit after a long climb.
Gotcha.
But it can get tricky.
Really? How so?
It's all about telling the difference between the clear and turbid water source.
Okay.
Imagine separating pure spring water from muddy river water.
So it requires, like, precision, clarity.
Exactly.
But we're not talking about actual water here, right? What are these water sources?
No, not physical water. The clear water source, that's truth. Clarity, connection to the Tao.
And the turbid water source.
Delusion. The things that cloud our perception.
So we've refined our inner elements, and now we have to make sure we're not mistaking fool's gold for the real deal.
Exactly. We need that inner vision, that clarity of perception to stay on the right track.
That makes sense, but how do we even develop that kind of inner vision?
Well, the Lingbao Essential Teachings point to a practice called Zuo Wang.
Zuo Wang. What's that?
Sitting in forgetfulness.
Sitting in forgetfulness? That sounds counterintuitive. How can forgetting help us see things more clearly?
Well, it's not about forgetting facts or knowledge. It's about stillness, emptiness, letting the mind settle so true wisdom can emerge.
So we're quieting the mental chatter, the stuff that usually blocks our true perception.
You got it. By letting go of attachments to thoughts, beliefs, even our sense of self. We create space for a deeper understanding.
It sounds a bit like meditation, but with a focus on cultivating emptiness rather than concentration.
You're on the right track. Zhu Wang helps us access that inner vision, the one we need to see the difference between the clear and turbid water source.
Okay, so through Zhu Wang, we can refine our perception and navigate Jiji. But what happens after we've mastered this stage? What's the ultimate goal?
That's a great question, and it brings us to Xi.
Xi?
Yeah, one of the most interesting concepts in the Lingbao Essential Teachings.
And what does that mean?
It's a really profound state of being. Think complete peace and tranquility, a deep connection to the Tao. You've gone beyond the limits of ego, and you're flowing with the universe.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Is that something everyone can achieve? Through internal alchemy?
It's the result of a lifetime of practice. It's not something you can force or do overnight.
So it's not a destination, but a journey. A continuous process of refining ourselves until we reach that harmony, that interconnectedness.
That's it. And though it may be challenging, the Lingbao Essential Teachings give us the tools, the guidance to start this journey of self-cultivation.
It's incredible that these teachings passed down for so long still resonate today. We're talking about inner alchemy, refining our essence, even achieving Xi. It's mind-blowing.
And Zhang Quan's emphasis on sharing these teachings, it's really inspiring. He didn't want this to be a secret. He knew that it could benefit people for generations to come.
Exactly. He wanted Lu Dongbin to pass on this knowledge. The true value of these teachings is that they can empower others on their own journeys.
It's a great reminder. Knowledge should be shared to help others on their own paths of self-discovery and transformation.
Absolutely. It's not just about the ideas, but the generosity, the openness behind them. So as we wrap this up, what do you think is the most important part of these teachings?
The focus on the connection of everything, yin and yang, aligning with those cosmic rhythms. It shows how profoundly we're part of existence.
That's a great point. Our inner transformations aren't isolated. They affect the world around us.
And that brings us to a final thought for you, our listener. Think about this. What does it mean to you to live in harmony with the Tao? How can you cultivate that Savi, that peace and connection in your daily life?
That's a really powerful question to think about. And if this has inspired you to learn more, there's so much to explore. You could read the Lingbao canon itself, or learn about the Zhonglu Alchemical School.
And if you're intrigued by Zuo Wang, there are plenty of resources to guide you on that path of stillness and clarity.
Whatever you choose, we hope this deep dive into the Lingbao Essential Teachings has sparked your curiosity and given you a taste of the power of Taoist internal alchemy.
So, until next time, may your journey be filled with insight, clarity, and a deep connection to the Tao.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep. It's really amazing how relevant these teachings still are, even after all these centuries.
Oh, right.
We're talking about inner alchemy, refining our essence, even the idea of say. It's crazy.
It really shows how powerful these ideas are, how they go beyond time and culture.
And I think what's really cool is how much Zhongli Quan wanted to share these teachings. He didn't want to keep them secret.
Yeah, he made sure they wouldn't stay hidden.
Right, so they could help people for generations.
Exactly. He told Lu Dongbin to pass this knowledge on, because the real value of the teachings is in helping others, empowering them on their own journeys,
Yeah.
of self-cultivation.
It reminds us that knowledge is meant to be shared.
To show the way for those who are searching, for deeper understanding, transformation.
Yeah, it's not just about the ideas themselves,
Mm-hmm.
but the spirit of it all, the generosity, the openness. So as we wrap up our deep dive, what do you think is the most important part of these teachings? What stands out to you?
I think it's the interconnectedness, how everything's connected.
Okay.
From yin and yang to aligning with the cosmos. The Lingbao essential teachings show us how we're all woven together, part of this bigger existence.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Our inner transformations, they're not just about us, they affect the world around us.
And that brings us to a final thought. For you, the listener, think about this. What does it mean to live in harmony with the Tao? In your own life, I mean. How can you bring Si into your life?
Yeah, how can you find that tranquility, that feeling of connection in your everyday life?
It's a good question to think about.
It is, and as you continue your journey, remember what Zhongli Quan said. The Tao is not distant from humanity. Its workings can be observed in nature.
May this deep dive into the Lingbao essential teachings inspire you to look for those workings within and in the world around you.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Keep seeking, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.